Hey guys, welcome back. For me, it's been quite a bit of time because I'm recording this the day before I upload it because I've been pretty busy as of lately with work and all. But anyways, the last episode we had finished Maple Meadows and we unlocked Chanute Airfield, which is a pretty interesting layout. It's basically a small amount of space that is an abandoned airfield, and I believe you had to have at least 250 guests in your park to pass it. It was somewhere around there. So I wanted to kind of stick with that theme for this park. So you'll see me sort of copy a few of the main, like the main entrance building. You'll see me copy a few pieces from it to make a few different buildings to sort of match that style, because I didn't want to have to go through and choose each one individually in the shop or whatever. You don't start out with much. In fact, the rides you start out with are pretty bad, and I just went ahead and put one down straight away. I didn't have quite an idea of how I wanted to cover this. I just knew I wanted it to be somewhat metal, if that makes sense. And I think it turned out pretty well. I know there's going to be a little bit of clipping towards the top. I went through a few different phases of trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to use for it. And basically every single thing that I use a ton of pillars, because that's pretty much the best thing in this game. That and the borders, like those alone help you sort of create your park like exactly how you want it. Without those, it would look pretty dry in my opinion, and so you can like change the colors of them and all of that fun stuff. But for right here, I was trying to like figure out what I wanted to do. I think I tried going up one and maybe trying to put glass or something like that, and I just didn't like the way it looked. So I ended up, I think, raising it up a little bit. And that was one of the staple rides. I think it got the most attention whenever I went through this park. And that's fine. I mean, look at how ugly that is. Just take a second to look at that. Like, while I was doing it, I was laughing because I couldn't believe I was doing something that, gross. But I did change it up a little bit and make it look a little better, in my opinion. You'll see a few different styles throughout the park. I did want to try to keep it, sort of airfield-like throughout it, but you do have to kind of mix it up and bring in some color, because without it, you'll just have a bunch of silver and gray throughout the park, which is what this beginning area kind of is. So it is kind of dull, and you have to sort of decorate around it a lot with vibrant colors, otherwise it'll just look pretty boring. And that's something you don't really want to do. It's, if it were me, I wouldn't want to walk into a park and everything was just gray, just boring. Even if the rides were just, amazing, you probably wouldn't want to be there for long. I did learn a tip or two about the queue lines, which I think I made this one a little bit too long. You most likely shouldn't have queue lines too long, because that means that those people that are waiting in line for the ride aren't paying for any other rides in your park, because they're busy, waiting in line for that ride. So I think the most you should make it is around 5 or 6 tiles long. It was somewhere around there. Right here, I'm getting started on the little food court area, And you'll see what I mean about, you know, copying sort of the style from the entrance building. I am not, you know, amazingly creative, but I did put my own little twist on it here and there. I think, anyways. I'm not, I can't really remember. I played this 2 weeks ago, maybe? A week ago? Yeah, I don't even really watch over this. I just try to cut it down as much as I can to fit maybe an 18-minute video. That's what I've been trying to aim for. So I don't really watch the streams or, you know, go back and make sure that, you know, everything looks extremely fine and good to watch. But anyways, I think I started out with just burgers, and I believe I put balloons down as well and soft drinks. Which balloons, I'm kind of glad that they made it like Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you can just, you know, pop the people's balloons. And I did kind of have a little bit of fun with that. And yeah, right here I'm sort of going back and forth and copying each of the wall pieces for that main building. It's been a crazy week. It's been all over the place. If you guys haven't checked out my last episode, go ahead and do that, because I built my first roller coaster on this game in there, and it turned out pretty well for my first one. I've since then been playing a little bit on my own custom sandbox park, and I'm telling you right now that I make a lot of just insane intensity rides. I'm talking like the intensity is around 200, and that's because I don't really look at the layouts of roller coasters too much, which I probably should. It would probably help a little bit in trying to figure out, you know, that balance between excitement and intensity. And I may make a video on it at some point, just messing around in Sandbox and maybe trying new things out. I believe I did a couple coasters with a Dutch sort of theme to it in that sandbox, so if you guys want to see that, just comment below and I'll see what I can do and maybe stream it and have you guys take a look at what I've been doing on there. I'm hoping that this next scenario, after I pass this one, I'll be able to maybe do that kind of style, because I love the architecture for that the whole Dutch looking. I don't even know if it's really Dutch or not, but it's a little over the top, but it looks in my opinion the best in this game over a lot of other styles that you see. Here I think I made the little, what you call it, the portion that I'm working on right now a little bit too high. I don't want to say it's a roof. It's something like that. I know it is a roof, but so yeah, I had to go through and sort of make it look like it had stick legs to have it work out. The balloons did clip through the top of it, I believe, because there was so many. I didn't realize how many balloons that actually the shop holds. It took me a few times actually placing one down to realize that it takes up so much space. Right here, to sort of make it less bland and gray, I decided to just throw in a little pond, and it sort of, you know, divides the two sections of this park, because they are kind of sectioned in a way. I'll have to do a third video maybe, or maybe in the second video. Towards the end of it, I'll have to show exactly what I worked on after I completed the scenario in this park, because I added a lot of things to sort of get out of debt, and I added a coaster, I think. Maybe it was 1 or 2 coasters, and I added a bunch more scenery, a lot of, I think I added another food court and stuff like that. That won't be in the next video. That's just because it was something I worked on off stream, I believe, and I didn't get a chance to record it. I should have. I just wasn't really thinking too much about it whenever I was doing it at the time. Just sort of playing the game, trying to get a feel for it. Here's my second coaster. I think it's a junior coaster. Looking back at it, that drop, it's sort of not my favorite. It doesn't look very smooth. It just sort of looks like an angled drop. But I mean, with the junior coaster, you don't really have much room here. I wanted to have at least one coaster as soon as you walk into the park, just straight ahead. And I think it took me a decent amount of time to actually figure out where I wanted to end this coaster at, because you really don't have that much room. It's a pretty skinny park, and you can technically like buy more land, not by this coaster but on the other side of the park, and I did that a little bit for more of the back area stuff. I didn't really do it to like add another coaster in or anything like that, because I kind of wanted to just keep it on this runway, and sort of keep it on that, theme, and not delete any of that kind of stuff that was already there. But yeah, as you can tell, it took me quite a bit of time to figure out how I wanted this coaster to go. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I played Roller Coaster Tycoon back in the day, I was so bad at building coasters that I would just have the autocomplete finish it for me. And even then, I probably didn't even really build much of them. And I'm gonna try to continue building the majority of the coasters throughout this series. It's mainly just because I don't want to steal other people's work. I did it the last, I think it was the last episode. If not, it was the first episode. I kind of skipped it out because it felt kind of cheesy to just use somebody else's coaster whenever, you have that ability to create your own. And even though, you can add your own twist to it or your own station, it just seems kind of like not really cheating, but in a way it sort of does. And I think that's the final portion of this coaster. I cut out a big portion of me building the station because it took me forever to figure out how to find all the different pieces, and that little opening that I have at the front, I couldn't figure out something that would match it, like match the rest of the sides, because for some reason it doesn't have a side that you can have like a door on, and that kind of bummed me out. But I think the way that I did it, it looks pretty good, or at least, in my opinion. I went with a black and green style this time to sort of make that silver gray, pop out a bit. I added some some dirt, and I think a little pond area as well with some rocks right here. And it's probably one of my favorite parts about this ride is just the scenery and the details. And I apologize for my voice. I do sound quite tired, and that's because I am. I am always tired. So my voice just automatically sounds like I want to take a nap. Even though I'm busy recording this which it does suck, honestly, because it makes my voice like 2 tones deeper than it actually is. So I do apologize for that. Anyways, yeah, I changed the color up of some of the trees because I don't think I did that much in the last park. And I like the fact that you can change the color of the trees and make it look more colorful in a green kind of way, a foresty way. I added some more rocks towards that end to bring the scenery rating a little bit up. And I think I used the same little tip or whatever of using one of the trees as a bush, where you put it underneath the ground and make a little bush with it. And I believe I got that from $2.20. So thank you so much for that. I do watch his videos occasionally. He is pretty good at these kind of games, and I do want to start a series on City Skylines, maybe after this one, because I do love that game. I have played it for a couple years by now, and I downloaded a bunch of mods for it, and, some specific buildings and all kinds of stuff so that you can make it sort of like a real life city. So yeah, this I put down this little plane carousel kind of ride here, just for the the kitties. And right here, I do kind of learn later on that you can flip the border to actually go across it. So you won't see me do that here, but I do that off camera eventually whenever I'm working on the scenery around this park. Around here is, I think this is one of my favorite designs for the ride. It did turn out pretty good in my opinion, especially the queue line. Even though it does sort of cut off a bit, I think I think it's this ride. It may not be. So if it's not, I apologize for that. I'm doing all of this in one take because trying to throw each clip in Audacity is a pain. But if you guys like the series, drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the feedback that you guys give. And next video, you'll see more of the other rides and scenery and all the other kind of stuff to go with the park and complete that rating. And I might even do a small different portion in it. Who knows? We'll see. But thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace.